if you guys have watched my last Forbidden List video, then you know that I dislike prediction lists. Why? Because there's always that one time where a YouTuber, or a YouTuber for that matter, posts a really solid prediction list. It takes into account Konami's future profits, as well as keeping the meta game healthy. It feels like, I think, Konami actually watches those videos, literally studies them, analyzes them, playtests them, only to go, nah, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do the exact opposite. Keep Cannon Soldier here. Why? Because we need FTKs. FTKs on FTKs. Because Yu-Gi-Oh players love FTKs. But no, in all seriousness, my dislike for prediction lists goes back a little bit further than that. I remember in my 7th grade year, I had this one teacher named Mr. Adams. Now, Mr. Adams was a sort of a rebel. He was cut from a different cloth. Completely different guy from your normal teacher. If you ask me, he reminds me like of a male version of Mrs. Frizzle from the Magic School Bus with a little bit of hippie in him. Mr. Adams definitely gave us some predictions that probably taunted me for a very long time, and still kind of to this day. I remember back he told us the world was going to end on July 7th, 2007. So we as 12 and 11-year-olds were completely spooked. We waited until 777, held our teddy bears tight, looked at the clock, and once it hit 7 o'clock, we braced ourselves to transcend to the moon, and that didn't happen. We even waited till 707 on 777 to make sure that that wasn't going to happen. Now, normally something like that happens, or something as traumatizing as that happens, you kind of don't listen to that person anymore. Well, Mr. Adam decided to get us again. He told us on 888 it would happen, and that prediction may have been wrong, but this one was definitely right. Things only happen like this once in 100 years, so of course we held those teddy bears tight, we looked up, and we hoped to ascend to the moon, I guess? I don't know what he was really talking about, but at 808 came, it still didn't happen. Now, people would normally say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you, but fool me 3 times, fuck the peace sign, load the chop. No, we didn't do any of that. He got us a 3rd time, and this time he said on December 12th, 2012, when the Mayan calendar ends, the world ends. Now, I didn't know Mr. Adams at that point in time, but you guys already know me as a grown man, held my teddy bear really, really tight, locked everybody out, looked up to the moon to transcend to it, but it didn't happen. Now, the predictions were completely wrong. No one knows when the world is going to end. No one can predict what will happen, but what you guys can do is prepare for the things that will happen. We know that Yu-Gi-Oh will change. It's going to be a huge change at this time of the year. And there are some decks that are completely unscathed, or that will go unscathed by the list, that are extremely underrated. And I'm going to be showing you guys 5 decks that can dominate after Forbidden Lists. I am TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, go ahead and hit that notification bell, because, well, we just too strong. Also want to give this time to give a special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Without you guys, videos like this would not be possible. Also want to give a mad shout out to our newest Patreon, La Paz. Welcome to the clan, man. I hope you enjoy your time here. Make sure to add yourself on that Discord to take advantage of those rewards. Without further ado, I present to you 5 decks that can still dominate after the Forbidden List, because being prepared is better than not preparing at all. Okay, so before we begin the countdown, I want to set some ground rules, because obviously I can just pull 5 strategies completely out that we know won't get hit by the Forbidden List and are competitive right now. So I'm going to exclude decks like Thunder Dragon, because it's one of those decks that not only keeps receiving support, it's almost completely protected by the Forbidden List. What I'm going to show you guys is some really underrated strategies that can take the meta by storm, especially in the beginning, as well as cards that might be getting a boost in the Savage Strike set. Now, I'm also not going to be mentioning any new archetypes in the Savage Strike set, because that's just for a whole different complicated video. So without further ado, let's start off with number 5. Now, this strategy is really good, but it's often overlooked by other warrior strategies because of their ease of summoning and their ability to not restrict you to only being able to summon a specific archetype. And one could argue that E-Soul Two Tails of the Noble Knights would be hit on the Forbidden List, but I just think it's really hard now that it's included inside of the special edition of Soul Fusions as a reprint card. Noble Knights are extremely powerful. They just got some new support inside of the Soul Fusion set, a hand trap inside of Morgan that can completely prevent the opponent from playing cards, as well as a new trap card that is, oh my god, everything you want inside of a support card, allowing you to excavate and add cards from your deck to your hand as long as you play the said archetype, and then also being able to spell summon monsters from your deck to your side of the field for almost free. The deck also has a new monster inside of Ivan that allows you to generate E-Soul even faster. I think that with other appropriate hits to other warrior decks, limiting E-Soul's capabilities, Noble Knights just might be what the deck falls back on. I mean, after all, it is E-Soul Two Tails of the Noble Knights. This deck is no slouch either, being able to summon rank 4 and rank 5 monsters that are almost indestructible for battle, card effects, or even being targeted. Not only that, the deck has some really good destruction capabilities, being able to wipe your opponent's monsters and back row with ease. Be on the watch out for Noble Knights. They just might take your meta by storm. Number 4 on this list is a little unorthodox, but I see it getting better and better with every set. Now, the incantation monsters that were introduced inside of the Soul Fusion set in the set before have been nothing less of amazing. But the incantation monsters that we will get in Savage Strike puts this deck over the top. One would be thinking, what ritual deck are you talking about? None of them are really good. Well, I can tell you guys the best ritual deck of all time, Nekroz, is that deck, ladies and gentlemen. The ability to lock your opponent out of the extra deck with Nekroz of Unicorn, being able to negate all monsters on the field. Also, the ability to summon monsters like Zaborg, the Mega Monarch. Oh my god. Sending monsters like Totally Awesome from your deck and Herald of Arclight can get you so much advantage and outright win the game. I think Nekroz's time to shine is here now, and with the new incantation monsters in Savage Strike, the deck only gets better and better. People do sleep on the fact that Nekroz still has Nekroz of Trishula, the ability to banish a card on your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard, and the fact that he is so searchable and easily accessible. Rituals are on the rise. I think that Nekroz is the best possible deck to abuse with these new incantation monsters. Even though Blue Eyes Chaos Max does do a decent job, Nekroz were once one of the best decks of the format, and Savage Strike does give the deck an opportunity to be that again. Number 3 on this list is another unorthodox deck. Why? Because it keeps popping in our face. First we got Mayakashi, then we got the Zombie Horde structure deck, and we actually got them in exact opposite. We got the structure deck first, but that's here nor there. And now in the Savage Strike set, we're receiving more Shiranui support. Shiranui zombies can be a very powerful deck, not only because we keep getting great support, but how generic zombies are. Depending on the Forbidden List, if Firewall does stay unbanned, then hey, they can extra link. And even if they can't keep Firewall off the list, this deck still has so many more options, being able to banish cards in your graveyard and gain effects off of it. I am not lying to you guys. Shiranuis are powerful, and just the fact that Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring and Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, some of the most powerful hand traps in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are zombie monsters, this deck can definitely take advantage. Now, we do have an insane Mayakashi build, but I don't think that it's ready just yet for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta. But when Savage Strike comes out, those Shiranuis, woo, cooking in the pot with the undead. You do not want to walk into this dead zone. Walk into, all right, I'll stop. Number 2 on this list receives no support from the Savage Strike set unless we get some of the imports, but it does extremely well, just under the radar well, and pretty much has a 0% chance of being on the Forbidden List. Cyber Dragons are a deck. They consistently top and win events here and there. It's just that nobody pays enough attention to them. The ability to make Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon to go for a complete OTK, Cyber Dragon Infinity to lock down your opponent, and also have access to, oh, you have that strong monster in your extra deck? Well, let me just Chimera Tech Mega Fleet it off the field and have at least a 2400 attack monster. This deck cannot be extra linked. Why? Because that Mega Fleet card still exists. And even more importantly, this deck has so many outs through the Kaijus, through Cyber Dragon Eltan. It has so many ways to just beat you upside your head and take all of your life points like people just take your lunch money. I don't know what else to say about this deck. It's really powerful, really slept on, and probably just underrated. I can see it dominating a format if left unchecked and the right circumstances start to come afold. Now, before we get into number 1 on this list, I want you guys to post down below in the comment section, what do you feel will be some underrated decks for the next Forbidden list? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this list is not necessarily going off a prediction list itself, but I also do have a perfect Forbidden list that you might want to check out on. I think you'll love it. But even more importantly, I just want to talk about this number 1 deck. It is possibly the most slept on deck, and I can see Konami starting to make it, or giving it the right tools to be the best deck. If you guys have caught on at any given time, Konami likes to baby an archetype into relevancy. They've done it with so many archetypes and have failed, but looking at this one, it is powerful. It has all of the tools to be a very on pure build, or you can mix it with the Thunder Dragon archetype to make it even better. You want a different variant? Well, it goes well with Invoked too. Prank Kids are that deck, ladies and gentlemen. Pick it up before it is too late. You are hearing it from me first, and it's pretty cheap right now. You can build an entire Prank Kids deck on, I want to say, a $60 budget just by having all the Prank Kids card and throwing the rest of the cards in there. It's very cheap and very, very powerful. The ability to spam Link monsters on your side of the field, summon Fusion monsters on your side of the field, and then use effects on your opponent's turn to completely dismantle their boards. You have a Raigeki inside of Prank Kids Battle Butler, and you have a Harpy's Feather Duster and your Rip Roaring Rooster. Now, those two cards are some of the game's best YuGiOh cards, and you get it in the form of using it on your opponent's turn. Not only that, these Prank Kids cards can abuse themselves as long as they're being sent to the graveyard for Link and Fusion summons to summon other parts back to their side of the field. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like, and if you didn't, let us know down below in the comment section what we could do to be better. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day, like I am.